Hi. I am super excited. Oh my goodness. Wow. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. This is your girl, Nancy Chamaka, with another wonderful episode of My Life, My Identity podcast with Nancy Chamaka. Your girl, aka Dr. Strange, aka Strange, aka Goddess of Photography, and my newest title, aka The Invincible Strange. Oh yes, anyone you call me, I'm here to answer you. All are my names, so I identify all of them. So yes, you'll be wondering why I have all this titled name. Anyways, there are reasons for each name. So if you want to know, you can ask me questions, you can drop a message, and I'm definitely gonna reply you. Trust me. There's nothing, hidden behind the names. But sometimes people ask me, why do I have to answer Strange? What's so special with Strange? Strange is something weird and something mysterious. You don't even understand. Oh yeah, obviously there's a lot in life that you don't have to understand, but you have to deal with them. Yes, you have to. So, wow, Nancy is happy because I am right here. It's a beautiful Sunday, and for some of us here, Sundays are usually very special. You go to church, and you see your friends after church, you go home, you eat your Sunday rice. Or I already have a friend who was asking me, hey Nancy, hope you cooked Sunday rice. And I still don't understand why you must cook rice every Sunday. Whatever. If it works for you, that's it. That is more like a routine. For some of us who live here, every Sunday there must be Sunday stew and rice, or Sunday fried rice, or Sunday jollof rice. It must be rice. But for me, it's not really a big deal for me to cook rice on Sunday, because I can cook rice any day and still cook it on Sunday. And I can cook rice on a normal day and it's a special rice anyways. But that's by the way. Whatever works for you. I'm happy you're happy. I'm happy you're enjoying your chicken, your turkey, your fish, your meat, whatever it is you're using to dissect the rice you are eating. No problem. I'm happy you're happy, and I'm happy that it's a weekend. It's a new week, obviously. Yeah, so we're getting ready to start the Monday. But here in the Southeast, obviously, tomorrow is still like Sunday for us, because it is always sit at home here. But that's by the way. I have a lot of gist for you today. I'm happy. So how have you been? What has been your week like? What has your week been like? And what's up with you? Tom, drop here and voice notes, and so just tell me how you feel. Tell me how your day was, whatever challenges you had, how were you able to overcome them? Those who pissed you off, of course, people always piss you off, one way or the other, and especially those ones you care about. They just have a special way of pissing me off. But that's by the way. That's how we roll. Yes. However, I'm happy to be here. I'm super excited to always come here and vent about how I feel and talk to myself how I feel, how my week has been, keeping record. I remember I told you this podcast is all about my life, my perspective, my experiences, my point of view, the way I view things, the way I think, the way I view life in general. So I'm here to actually document those moments for myself. It was amazing listening to my podcast, my last podcast. True. I have to listen to every podcast I put up here. And it was so insightful listening to myself. I was so happy listening to myself. Sometimes I know I don't make a lot of sense, but then I just have to keep doing it because it was something very dear to me to do. I was propelled to do this, and no matter how it ends, no matter how it's going, I will keep doing it because It is something that maybe probably in the long run, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm very, very optimistic that it will add up to something very big in my life in the nearest future. Very well. If not in my life, in the life of those who are around me, and in the life of those who I'm definitely going to meet, or in the life of those who always come here to listen to me, or whoever that is going to come across this podcast someday, somehow. I don't know, but I have to just keep doing it. It is a task for me, and I have to keep doing it. Several times I've missed, and I've been trying to be very consistent with it, but I'm happy that I'm making efforts every day by day to always come here and blab and talk to myself and make joke about me and then share my perspective and how I see life. But yeah, today is a special day for me because from last podcast I told you that there's a special topic I'm definitely gonna dive into today, and that topic is that I realized something very, very scary and weird last time, and there is an event that made me realize that. And I will share the story that made me realize this and discover that for a long time in my entire life, I have been living in denial. I don't know if I am still doing that. I know somehow I am. For me to actually have to recognize that I've been living in denial means it has been a long time coping mechanism for me. A kind of self-protecting mechanism. I mean, yes. I know very well that I have this shield, I have these walls around me that I put up from certain things. I know very well I am that kind of person. I know that if I am faced with certain hard feelings or some certain hurt or some certain feelings that emotions that I can't deal with, I withdraw myself. That's always my number one thing. Maybe a challenging feeling, something I don't know how to handle. Also, the nearest thing always for me is to withdraw. To just withdraw. I don't know if that is a good thing, but I know I have noticed that has been a very long-term mechanism for me, and it is really, really affecting me, especially when I have to face the hard truth or when I have to deal with that emotions. It is very scary for me. Anybody listening to me and you're dealing with some certain level of mental issues. Mental issue is not just somebody who has gone mad. Mental issue is our everyday life, how we deal with our emotions, the state of your mind in dealing with certain things you have to deal with in your daily life activities. This is one thing I know that I am happy to have been able to identify this, because trust me, the few stories I'm going to share with you is going to be mind-blowing, because it took me years to realize this. If somebody had talked to me earlier before I realized this and said that, hey Nancy, are you aware you're living in denial because you hardly face your fears, you hardly face your emotions, you hardly even confront them, talk more of facing them. Wahala. Man, trust me, is something that I'm very grateful to God to have been able to help me realize this, and then finding a way to deal with it is another thing. That's the solution part of it that I'm going to delve into for the rest of my life. Yes, I want to deal with it. So, but by the way, before I kickstart the main topic for the day, which is a very emotional one, and it's gonna be in a low tempo kind of thing. It's gonna be sober somehow. It's gonna make me sober somehow, of course. Yes. But before then, let me share some exciting news that I've got over the week. Wow, I am super excited. First of all, for my last podcast, I told you there was a job I did ending of August, and specifically 18th of August. I covered a traditional marriage that I was given the opportunity to do, and it's very big. I wasn't expecting it to be me that would document that special wedding, traditional wedding. But yeah, somehow I found myself there, and I have to document and tell the story of this beautiful couple, Adobe and Chibike. They are very, I love telling love stories, though, but yeah, of course, I believe in love. So when I am given the opportunity to tell love story, it's always a great honor for me to have to document those moments. So I went to Abia State, just like I told you last time. I went to Abia State, and then finally I told you the photo book and the soft copies and videos, trailers are ready, but I'm here to deliver them. So finally, I delivered this job a few days ago. Yes, I did deliver them, and then Adobe's mother, siblings, and Adobe herself, when they saw the photo book, they were blown away. They were so, wow, like really, Nancy, we got on that album. These pictures are so crystal clean. You know that expression, crystal clean. Rhymes. I'm a good rapper, but yeah, that's by the way. Well, I'm rapping in photography terms. So I am super, super excited because they love the photo book. They love the calendar that came with it. They love the packaging. They love every image, every soft copy image. They love the story. They love how I was able to, the colors, the color combination was mad. Yes, it was all part of my creative way to tell a perfect story. And then the most amazing part of this all is that the joy that I have knowing that they love it, knowing that they cherish it, knowing that I did a perfect, very lucrative job. Very authentic, beautiful, no flaws kind of job. So, it made my day knowing that, because trust me, when you're an entrepreneur like me, whatever sector you're working, especially when you're in the creative industry, it is usually very, very satisfying when you deliver a job and your client loves it and you wow your client. You wow them. Yes, you wow them. So when they are wowed, it's more refreshing than the money you got. Money is good. I know money is perfect, but the satisfaction that you delivered is something else beyond the money. Trust me when I say so. So that's by the way. Then there's another good news, amazing gifts from an Australian friend of mine. His name is Rizal Rasta. So we've been friends. We connected via Instagram, and it's been amazing. We've been talking. He's cool. We've been very good friends all the way from Australia to Nigeria connecting. He loves a lot of things about Nigeria. And being that I'm an Igbo babe, so actually, Rizal actually got to a point that he had to translate some English in Igbo and started writing Igbo for me through Google Translation. And I was like, really? Is that how much you love Nigeria and how much you love, Igbo people? He said yes, that he's really happy, that he loves a lot about Nigeria. He was always telling me that, when is he going to taste Nigerian jollof rice and chicken and some soups, some pepper soup and some other. So I said, don't worry. Any day you're ready to visit Nigeria, holla at your babe. I'm going to take you to the tour. I'm going to tour you around. And trust me, it's going to be the best memorable part of his life. I promise you. If you're listening to me, trust me, any day, anytime soon that you plan visiting Nigeria, oh man, I will be happy to tour you. But that's by the way. Of course, I love interracial relationships somehow, and I appreciate the fact that I know that there's a lot of racism out there. But I'm always very happy when I see people who are very open-minded, that they can interact with other people from different countries, from different part of the countries and different part of the world. So it's a beautiful thing, because trust me, this is how God wants it somehow. Because all these people that are saying racism, black, white, kiniko. See, I am not interested. And anybody who is a racist, you cannot strive around. In short, I can't even have you in my circle because trust me, you can never enter my friendship kind of book. No, you can't enter in my friendship circle. No zone, nothing. Because I won't even start a conversation with you, talk more of actually talking with you. So anyways, Rizal sent me some gifts. And yesterday, DHL called me and said, a gift from me, I need to sign and pick it up. And I was like, wow. He told me he was going to send something. But I didn't see it coming soon. Man, wow. Like, I am feeling special because this is the least gift I ever expected, actually. I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but because it was a gift filled with love and, love for the country, love for the fact that I'm a Nigerian, and then love for the fact that I have an Australian friend who cares about me. That's beautiful. I mean, yeah. And he's been amazing. I love the way he thinks. And, do you know how it feels like to have somebody from another country think you conversing with them sharing their own perspective and you sharing yours? I mean, there's a swing between understanding and then having to open up your horizon and your thinking faculty, like to see things differently. That's one thing I love about meeting people outside my outside my country, outside my culture, outside our way of life. It's enlightening. Trust me, that's the word. It's enlightening. So yeah, Rizal, some love. Many thanks to you. I love the gifts. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really I really love the fact it has some Australian name and Australian football around it. As I think I'm still gonna know more about the football team, the female football team that you've been talking to me about. I actually love football as a person. I love sports, so it was beautiful. It was insightful of you to send such a gift, and I am grateful and I am thankful. Enjoy your day and just know that I appreciate that. So anyways, moving forward, I just like I said, something made me, getting to the main topic for the day, I told you something happened that made me realize I was living in denial. Before I dive into that, there's this part of me that if I need something that I know is something I really want, something very important, not something that I want, something that I specifically need for my job as a photographer, more like a tool that I desperately need. I'll use the word desperately because trust me, if you're a photographer, it's not easy to gather your tools, especially those good quality tools. They're quite expensive. So lately, my system, which is my laptop that I use for editing, has been lagging and slowing. And the capacity is doing more than it's supposed to do. So it's lagging. It's seriously, frustrating to work with it now. So my intention was to make an upgrade, and it's been so difficult that the kind of price for the specific kind of laptop that I need, the workstation kind of laptop that I need, is mind-blowing. Funny enough, it's not even brand new. It is fairly used, like all these fairly used laptops that people sell. It's quite expensive. So I don't even know what to do. At some point, I went into depression because I really needed one. The finances that needed to come in were not forthcoming. People are owing me. People are owing me, obviously. Yes. And they will tell you, okay, don't worry, I'm going to pay this. And when you reach out to them, they will give you another reasons. And there's nothing much you can do. There's nothing much I can do. Especially if it's people that you respect that are owing you kind of thing. It's they put the different ball games together. So, but that's by the way. At some point, I really got tired because I was having sleepless nights because of this. Because of the fact that I don't have the money to make an upgrade. And with the fact that it is frustrating working with the laptop, it is frustrating. Imagine having to be on one or two pictures the whole day just because your system is so slow and so lagging and so not the capacity of the laptop that you need to deliver. I mean, come on. It took me, delivery is one thing in my job, and when you deliver fast, the faster you deliver, the more you gain job and clear up your desk. Trust me, editing is a whole lot stressful when you don't have the right tools to help you edit really fast. So anyways, at some point I was very worried. I am still very worried because I need it. And for me to get a very good, reasonable laptop now, I should be having close to 400, 500,000. That is the investigation, the research I've made so far. And sure, to even see a good workstation laptop is even more. So when you now see one, it's close to 500, not even brand new. I'm not talking about brand new. I'm talking about used laptop. For you to get that specific one that fits into Photoshop and the software that I use, their specification is 400, 500, 600,000 to get it. And how do I do it? So at some point, I in short, this has been my prayer point. Every time, any place that I pray, getting a brand new laptop, God should just help somehow. I don't know. But if it's a job that is going to send, that will help me be able to make this investment, please, God, I need it. Trust me, I do. God, I do. So, but now at some point, my heart said, okay, don't worry, Nancy, just calm down, because you cannot fix this problem, right? So, that's still that part of me. Okay, I was like, I don't want to now start acting on this feeling because I don't know what to do next. So right now I'm a little bit relaxed, even though I am trying to get more jobs to see if I can raise the necessary money with the one I already have to be able to buy this laptop anytime soon, maybe before the year runs out by God's special grace. So that'll be one hell of investment I'm going to make with all my savings. But yes, I am optimistic that God has a bigger plan, and I should not worry if I cannot afford it now, even though that I really, really need it. God knows that I really, really, really need it. So that's by the way. So my sister visited last week because it's been long. She has been wanting to visit, and I've been postponing her because there's this part of me. Here I am very raw with my feelings. This podcast is somewhere I am very honest with myself, because being honest is all I can be. It's all I can do, because who am I trying to impress? No. Being honest with myself is going to help me learn and be a better person. So because of the way I grew up, I didn't grow up with my family. I didn't grow up with my sister. There's this distance relationship I have with my mom and with my family entirely. So I'm not always with them. I'm alone. Virtually, I've been alone all my life. Like, I didn't grow up home. I grew up in Lagos, and from one family to the other. It's more like saying from one foster home to the other. So imagine a child growing up from one foster home to the other. You know how emotionally damaged those kids can be. I'm not saying I am emotionally damaged. Thank God, so far I am not so bad. I didn't turn out really bad as I expected, because it was really traumatizing growing up, or the horrible experiences that I have had. But thank God that I am the woman I am today, because God have decided that, hey, it's not about the experiences. It's about what you've learned. It's about where I'm taking you. That's one thing God has been telling me. It's not about what you've been through. It's about where you're headed. So I have made you go through those experiences in order to prepare you for a better future ahead. And I believe, yes, there's a greater reason why I have been through what I've been through. And sometimes when I share them, they make me cry. I tend to break down But recently, I've been finding the strength from within to just, to own them. They are my experiences. I can't run away from them. I passed through them. I saw them. I felt them. I was the one that those things happened to. So there's no way I can run away from what I am or what I've been through, because they are part of my story. Just like I said, I'm a storyteller, and I love being real and raw with my stories. So just like I said, my sister visited, and for a long time she had been wanting to visit, and I've been really been turning her down, which seems really wrong, but I have my reasons. That reason is that I was telling myself that I don't really, why would she visit? She's working, school is on strike, but I believe she has a job, so she should focus on her self-growth and take care of mom, because she's the closest person to my mom. More like she stays in Onitsha and my mom stays in Adaze, so it's a lot easier for her to visit. For me, it's not, because I actually don't like visiting home. That's the honest truth. But then I have to, because my mom needs me, my family needs me, right? Yes, that's what's supposed to be. So I visit whenever I feel I have the chance and the opportunity to. So, but all my life, I've never been the home kind of girl, going home kind of girl, because I've been away for a very long time, and that has become part of my identity. Why now that I own my life, I still don't visit, because it's not really how I grew up. But I just have to reach out one way or the other to know that my mom is fine. Yes, I love my mom. Yes, and it took me time to realize that I have to love her, because for whatever reason I was holding things against her, because of what I've been through as a child, or how I felt abandoned, or how I felt rejected, or how I felt like, if my mom can do this to me, then why won't other people do that same thing? So what difference would it make if others do the same thing to me? If my own mother could do such a thing. I held so much grudges against my mom growing up. I was really heartbroken as a child, because I had a horrible child, growing up. It was very horrible. So I could remember specifically, let me nail it down to why I realized I was living in denial, was the fact that finally, I said, they said last week, they said Monday, Tuesday was going to be sit at home. So she was like, she can visit, and it was Sunday, she will come on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, she goes back to work. And I said, that's fine. So I raised all the fears that I had. That intrusion, I hate when people intrude. Even though it's not, I don't know, it's a problem. And that is why I have to really talk about them. And one thing I know about how to deal with denial is actually taking your time to fish out those hard feelings, to know what they are, to identify them. And I know I basically don't like my sister around, because I don't really have, she's my sister, not just my sister. I hate to have people around. It's not like I hate. It's just so difficult to have people around me for too long. I'm more like an introvert, but I still have a social life. I'm trying because of my job, but I am more like somebody who loves solitude. I love to just stay on my own. Probably is because of how I grew up, because it was horrible. So finally, when my sister visited last Saturday, and I realized that when I'm around her, I am very free. I am happy, partly happy somehow. And it dawned on me that I've actually missed my sister, but I never realized that. I never wanted to act on the fact or accept the fact that I wanted her around, not knowing why I was thinking I don't want her around. Why in the other way around, I actually wanted her around. So actually, there's this thing that happens when I am with my sister. We tend to joke a lot, which I found really weird. Yes, I think when I love someone, I tend to joke. Joke and tell them some nonsense. I tend to talk nonsense around them. So she visited and we were joking. I called her. There's this slang I use unknowingly, subconsciously. I don't know when I do those things, but I tend to speak some nonsense Latin language that I don't know where they come from. So she have to laugh. And I love the fact that when I say those things, and she laughs. She laughs really hard. So that's a joy that I found that I never knew I wanted. Well, I've been in denial, knowing the fact that, having the feeling that, I don't want my sister. She's coming to intrude in my space. I really don't like it. But somehow, when she finally was here, I really loved her company. I really was happy that somebody was with me and all of those things. So I think that's a very big problem. And it was that week that I realized that, oh my goodness, Nancy, what is your problem? It's a very huge problem that you're missing someone, but you can never accept the fact that you truly missed them. That is total denial. Extreme one. Denial to an extent is it's a way to, it's for a short period of time, it's a way to deny yourself from certain feelings or from certain emotion in order to gain your balance or to understand why you're feeling those way. But then when it is a consistent mechanism, your coping mechanism, it has become something very addictive that you don't want to accept that you miss someone. You don't want to accept that you need someone, but truly you need them. Oh my God. It dawned on me. Trust me. Now, let me go back to how I think all this started. As a young girl of 5 years, I left for Lagos. I think if you have been listening to my podcast, I've shared some part of this story, but not all. So gradually, we keep unfolding those stories because, of course, they are who I am. Those stories are what made me. Those experiences are what have transformed me into the person I am, which I'm not too proud of them, but I have to own them. So, as a young girl, I left for Lagos at the age of 5. My uncle took me. My mom allowed my uncle to take me, and I lived in Lagos for over 10 years. And those 10 years, I never visited my mom or visited my sister, and all of those things. So, I never visited, but then I felt like I didn't want to. My mom never wanted to visit me, or I didn't matter. Like, I was just giving off to be treated anyhow, So my aunt that I was connected to my uncle. So his wife was the woman I stayed with, who made my life more miserable than I can imagine. Very horrible experience for me. Anytime I think about her, I remember how wicked, how those hatred in her eyes will be staring back at me, and she will beat me up. She will never allow me to ask for anything. She will never allow me to. I was so scared that no matter how I felt, I had to buckle it up inside. I have to suppress it. She never gave me the chance to express any. So I think that was the reason why as I grew older, it was the only safest means to not even get caught, because anytime I tried to express, the next thing is cane. The next thing is calling of names, slapping me, beating me up, or shouting at me, or calling me names, or throwing things at me. So all my life in Lagos, I lived in fear. And I think it's those fear that made me that even when I need someone, even when I love someone, even when I know that I need you, I will never accept it that I do, because I am afraid to even tell you how much I need you. I'm even afraid to tell you how much I love you. I am afraid to tell you what I feel like. If you confront me, I really feel bad, because it took me this long to actually realize this, and I don't want to break down, because just remembering those memories, remembering what I've been through as a young girl who was never allowed to express how she feels, who was never given the opportunity to speak up, to I don't know. I felt like I never belonged. Nobody really cared. That has been me. So somehow they've affected me so deeply that subconsciously, I don't know when I need someone. I might really need you, but I don't know how I need you, because I don't know, accept the fact that I need someone, because I was never given the opportunity to accept when I need help or not. So one thing that I knew then as a child, that because I know that any slightest mistake I'll make comes with a cane, comes with beating, comes with slapping, comes with calling of names. If you're my friend, you know me closely, just few people knows me closely. If you look at my skin to an extent, I have a beautiful skin, by the way, and that's one big blessing. I know that God blessed me with a very beautiful baby kind of skin. But the memories of the fact that my aunt in Lagos actually wanted to destroy that beautiful skin, and somehow till date I still have those scars on my skin. I still have those scars that when she canes me and she beats me up today, the next day she still beats me up, and the scar and the pain of previous beating, she repeats the same beating on top. Imagine having injury, and every time you're being beaten up the same spot, you're being flogged the same place that your pain. I don't know how to express it. That was the most demoralizing and most horrible part of my childhood, that every blessed day I cry. When I want to speak Igbo. Ana appiaga Italy, Ana appiaga Italy every blessed day at the same spot. Or I don't know. You all know what caning means. I believe you know. I know the kind of burning sensation cane can give you on your skin. Imagine repeating every day. You already have a scar and you're being beaten up the same spot every day. How? I know for the rest of my life I'm going to have these scars. No, nothing will take that away. And I don't have intention of taking it away, because it reminds me of how strong I have become. Because it got to a point that I got used to caning. No matter the kind of flogging my aunt gave me, I won't cry. But the pain will be there. I tried to become stronger, like in enduring those pain, because it didn't happen once. It didn't happen. Imagine living in that house for 10 years, and for those 10 years I have been beaten virtually every day. Every blessed day I've been crying. I used to cry every day. There is nothing I do that is right. There is nothing that I do that I get right. There's always something to blame me for. And imagine having to be blamed for everything. in that house, how do you think you're going to deal with? Yeah, that is why any slightest thing, I blame myself. Instead of talking about it, instead of accepting that, oh, I know you're at fault, but yeah, I take all the blame. And taking the blame in a way is like for me not to even go back to those things. I take the blame instead of talking about them. I just take the blame and forget about talking about them. Forgetting that is part of one thing that has affected me psychologically. So that's by the way. So now, what is being in denial looks like? First of all, like I said, I know that I do withdrawal. I withdraw myself immediately. Instead of confronting or facing that fear or facing that emotion, I withdraw myself. I go back to my shield. That's what I used to call it. I shield myself. And what does that mean? It makes me, instead of sharing that, I don't know. I mean, for some people, they transcend from withdrawal to bullying. I don't know if I've bullied anybody. Maybe subconsciously I have, but consciously I don't think physically I don't bully people. Maybe probably emotionally I bully people emotionally somehow. People that I care. Yes, I think I do. Yes, I do. Without realizing it. It's just dawning on me right now that I do certain level of bullying, which is emotional, because physically I don't know how to beat up people, because I'm even scared of somebody beating me because of the phobia I have from the caning of all my life caning that I had growing up. So one of the greatest things that I'm afraid of is somebody touching me. And if anybody should dare touch me, another demon in me rises. There's something in me that will come out that I don't know if I can control that thing. And I think that is the monster that my aunt built in me while she beats me almost for all the 10 years I lived with her. So anyways, so the next thing is self-harm. I know I've harmed myself severally. I don't know. The last time I shared about depression is one thing that I know I deal with most of the time. And thank God that it hasn't gotten to the point of thinking of killing myself. Somehow God's hand is on my life, I would say, because trust me, those thoughts can be something else. Believe me. Now, and then use of substance. I'm not used to using substance. Like for some people, they get used to taking alcohol or smoking, just looking for solace somewhere. I found solace in my own self, and I think that's why I am not addicted to any substance, and thank God for that, because it would have been a way to just hide. But thank God, I've been able to identify all these things. I just hope and pray that I'll work on them day by day, and I need help. Trust me. If you're listening to me and you think you have a better way that I can handle this, please reach out to me, call me, and I would love to have your take on this. I am saying this to myself and saying this to the universe too, so that I need help from anywhere I can get it. From praying, of course I'm praying about it, and friends around me who can help, because there are ways to deal with them that I searched, and I think it's something I can do myself somehow. And one of them is take time to think about what makes you afraid. See through the pain. I have been doing that for a very long time, and I've been trying to see through my pain. Trust me, I have. And I want to really, really, really identify with all my fears. I want to. It's going to help. And think about the effect of living in denial, and the positive and the negative side effects. There are positive and negative side, of course. Just like I said, denial helps you to deny yourself from feeling certain way for a short period of time in order to understand what that means, and then for you to face it. But when it becomes a constant thing, a long-term thing, becomes very harmful to you yourself. Give yourself the room to understand those feelings and fears. I mean, that is exactly what I'm doing to myself right now. I want to give myself that room to absorb those feelings, to absorb those fears, to identify them, to know what makes me feel those way, or what makes me afraid, and just want to confront them. Then another way to do them is write down your thoughts and feelings and be honest with yourself. Okay, just like I said, from I think last 2 podcasts that I took a very long break, that I told you that I started writing. I've been writing for a very long time. I mean, I write in between. So I think it was me trying to discover ways to unburden my heart that I started putting down writings. I started putting down to pen how I felt, what makes me feel, and I was being totally honest with myself. However the feeling comes, I write it down. I have a journal where I write this thing down on my phone, and many times when I go back to read them, it's just mind-blowing. It just helps me with discovering myself more and more, and I love the fact that I am being honest with those feelings. Yes, they can be weird, but being honest with them helps light comes in. If they are as dark as the midnight of the day, or the dark as whatever you think, because of course there are dark desires in our hearts that if you do not identify and own them, they will become very strong demons that you won't know how to fight. So in order to grow past those dark desires, it's okay to identify and own them. Then there will be more light to deal with them. I believe that's how it works. So then talk it through with someone you care about and someone you trust. Not someone you care about, someone you trust. It's not everybody you can tell certain things, or you can discuss certain fears and feelings to, because they will just scandalize you, they will just judge you immediately. But thank God so far that I've been able to have, there are few people I have in my life that I've been very honest with how I feel, and they've never judged me. And somehow those are the people I trust with my feelings and fears. I have few of them, and I am glad to have them. And I need to go back to sharing that with them so that insights can come in. Those feelings can be very dark and very destructive sometimes. Trust me, if you've been there, you know what I mean. Then seek therapy and counsel. Yes, therapy and counsel can come from those people you trust and all of that. I mean, therapists, it's not having to meet therapists is not really common in Nigeria here. Of course, it's a great profession. They help a lot. But I think my own therapy is just me and God, and then those people that I trust that can tell me the raw truth about what I feel. When I'm scared, when I'm lonely, when I'm feeling like I don't feel like it's me anymore. So, yeah, these are ways you can cope and deal with when you're living in denial. I know a lot of us are somehow, unknowingly, we are all living in denial. But it's okay to, for a short period of time, to identify what those feelings are and to face them. But when it becomes something you have to depend on, it becomes a constant coping mechanism, self-defense mechanism, it's going to be very deadly, because you wouldn't know when to accept what you're feeling or not. Trust me. It is something I am struggling with a lot of relationships specifically, especially with my mom, with my family, with the people I have to bring into my circle. Basically, don't have much people into my circle, and probably that's the reason why. And I am a work in progress. I know, please, I know. And to whoever that is listening to me, and I listening to myself, I really, really, really want to tell you that it's all a work in progress. It's one step at a time. For me to be able to realize this, it took me years. It just took me last week to identify that I have been living in denial for how many years of my life. Come on. if it take me all that time to discover that I've been living in denial, then happens. Change can happen anytime. Just be open, just be willing to change, just be willing to accept that you have a problem. Just be willing to face those problems and be willing to start acting on them so that they won't take over you, because when they do, you become the shadow of yourself. And trust me, I personally don't want to become the shadow of myself. I want to become the person that God wants me to be. The reason why I'm created, the reason why I've been through hell and back is because there's a greater purpose why God have allowed me to go through these heart-aching, heartbreaking experiences, which sometimes when I remember them now, it just look like, oh, I read this in a novel or I watched it in a movie. But it was me. It was my life. I felt those pain, those periods. For me to have been able to heal and one again, I know I still feel really sad when I think about that, my aunt. But somehow I've learned to forgive her. I've forgiven her. I have. And even if I have to see her face to face today, I don't know what I would do, but I know I won't be that dramatic. I won't be hiding away from her. I'll greet her and I will talk to her if she have to talk to me, and that is all I know I can do. Well, if it's remembering all the evil things she have done to me, how she penetrates every part of my childhood being, or every part of my innocence as a child, how she took it away from me, I am still mad at that. I am still mad that my innocence as a child was taken away from me when I never wanted it to be. I became an adult overnight. I never had the chance. I never had the opportunity to become a child that I was supposed to be. But because somebody took it away from me, I am still very mad. I am still very emotional about it. And I don't know how I know I'm going to survive from that feeling. But somehow I'm asking God to help me to deal with that. And truly I am avoiding her. My uncle, which is her husband, is dead. My uncle, who I was living in Lagos with then, is now dead. So, and funny enough, I missed his burial. I didn't go. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was not in a position to. I had jobs that I was dealing with, and it fell in a wrong day that I can't really travel. So it's not because of his wife. I wasn't scared to face her. But I know some part of me is still very scared to have to see her face to face, and I don't think I'm ready for that. So anyways, this is me being honest to myself and trying to find solution to a part of my big problem. This is a big problem. Living in denial can destroy, can mess up anybody's life, which I don't want it to. If you're just hearing this for the first time, just know that living in denial is a good coping mechanism, but not for long. It becomes very, very detrimental to you when you consistently keep using that mechanism. So it's not a good advice. Just know when to draw the line, which is what I'm telling myself right now. And so I am happy to share this with you, and I hope we all accept that we are work in progress, which I've accepted. I'm a work in progress, and I know that the Lord who have started the good work will definitely finish it. If you're Christian, if you believe in God, you know what I mean. So I don't joke with him, because he has been the reason why I'm even insane in the first place. A lot of things I have been through a lot of things that would have just distorted my way of life, distorted my way of thinking. I would have been a messed up child. I would have been a messed up adult, but I am not. And that is why I keep fighting every day to be a better version of my own self, because I know where I'm coming from. So don't ever forget where you're coming from, because it is a huge part of your identity. And that is why I named this documentary of my life, My Identity podcast, because my life is my identity. All the experiences that I've been through It's who I am. It's not another person. So they are part of my identity, and I need to own them in a very positive way. And that is why I have to keep trying to be a better version of myself. Just know that I love you. Just know that I know I cherish every part of you that always come here to listen and to hear me share this dark part of me. And I'm happy to share it and to hear myself talk. I am happy because it is a work in progress and I am helping myself grow better. Thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead. Love you and love everybody around you. Much love. Bye.